Hey, what's up? My name's Dave Sankey. Just a little quick tour of VEX code IQ blocks for Alachua County Public Schools and for anyone else out there who wants to see what's going on here. So the download, if you just do a basic Google search for it, you'll find the VEX code download page. You can see right here they have kind of a unified plan to go from IQ blocks to IQ text and V5 blocks to V5 text. You could take your block program and turn it into a text program. You can't really go the other way, though. That's kind of the nature of these things. And that's okay. So you see the VEX IQ blocks, the text, the IQ text and V5 blocks are both not available, but they'll be out soon, and they're going to be great. VEX code text is out right now, and a lot of people are using that, and they like it much better than the other options that were there. So for the V5, there's a ton of stuff out there. I'm not going to get into that because this is more for the IQ end. But when your kids are ready to do some text, you can convert it to that and go from there. I think judges like text programming. So, okay, so continuing here, you can actually see they have the Mac version works on iPads. So you can do this all from an iPad. The iPads, I believe, work wirelessly if you have a smart motor, which is really nice. That'd be the iOS version. Do everything on Windows. Pardon me. And if you just have Chromebooks, it'll work right on your Chromebook. So that's a really nice feature as well. I went ahead and installed the Windows version, and I opened it up, and here it is. If you show this to your kids are going to say this is Scratch, and it is. It's based on the same engine, but it has a few little upgrades which I really like. So right now you don't see a ton of stuff over here because this is only a brain. So this is all stuff you can do with just the brain without any motors or controllers or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get some motors and stuff here so we can actually see what we're working with. So you have the device tab here and you have the help tab here. The help tab, the in context help here is really amazing. So when you click on the help tab and click on any block at all, look at all this help it gives you on just that block. It's going to tell you how you could use it with other commands. It's really shows you a grid of all the positions on the screen. So if you want to output anything to the screen, it makes it's really nice. It's really nice. Like, it's great and awesome. So all that help is built into it. So let's get a few devices here. I'm going to add a controller, and you can assign, so if you want to assign E up and E down to a certain motor, you could do it right there as well, just by clicking on it and going through it. But I don't have any motors set up yet, so I'm not going to do that just yet. Well, let me do a couple motors first. So you can also use a drivetrain as well, so you can use forward and turn left and turn right commands. I'm going to go ahead and just add a couple motors. So let's put a motor in one. You can normal or reverse it. So let's say this is our left motor like it usually is, and then in motor 6, let's make this our right motor. No spaces allowed. Good point. And this one is reversed. Let's go ahead and add our claw as well. The claw usually goes in port 11. And something you can do here, which is awesome, is that you can call this open, and you can call this close. So when you're running the commands, instead of selecting forward and reverse, you can name those things. So you can name this open and close. So later on, if you want it to open, you don't have to know if it was forward or reverse. You just have to know whether it's open or close. And that's really nice. Motor 11, let's call that our claw motor. And motor 1, let's call this our left motor. Okay, and now that I've added some motors, I have a whole lot of extra stuff here that I can do with the motors on the top and then a few other things down there. I'm not going to get too into this, but if you add a color sensor in there, it'll add a bunch of stuff that deals with that. So there's a lot of different things you can do here once you get those. Once you add the devices, the stuff pops up over here. I don't want to overcomplicate it for right now. The drivetrain is a little weird, so if I add a drivetrain, it's going to say, well, where's your left and right motors? And I already added them. as left one and as the left and right motor. So I'm going to leave it like that. Like I said, you can go ahead and do it that way. So to get the bot to go forward, and then I'm going to spin the left motor for 90 degrees, and then I'm going to duplicate it and spin the right motor for 90 degrees. Now, if you are familiar with using Robot C or other languages, this isn't going to just go forward, right? Because it will spin the left motor first and have that go, then it'll spin the right motor. Well, something you can do here that you used to have to use something called set motor target, and it was a little bit of a pain. But if I just click on the end here, it will add and don't wait. So it'll start the command, but it'll let the program continue on. It's not going to wait for that to finish. So this will move the bot forward 90 degrees. Both motors will go at the same time for that 90 degrees. This right here is a huge step up from what they did before. I really like that a lot. And again, the in-context help is great. So I can click on this, and it gives me all this information on it. And you can, you can see everything there, and it has the and don't wait down there as well. So your kids are going to have access to all this stuff all the time. If they ever need to know what any of these blocks are, they just click on it and it'll pop up, which is great. So let's go ahead and add one more for the claw motor. And again, the claw motor changes to open and close because that's how I defined the the motion in the motor sensor setup. Sorry, it's not the motor. It's just the motor's tap now. It's not all that. One thing that is definitely different is that you have to assign the velocities ahead of time. So with Robot C, you always had that number at the very end was the velocity. Well, you don't have that anymore. You have to do that ahead of time. So at the very top, I'll go ahead and set these in, and then if you want to change them, you can change them. Let me pull these off so I can duplicate it a couple times. Okay, whoops, I got one too many. Get out of here. Okay, so let's say left motor, and then right motor, and then claw motor. So you'll set the velocities here, and that will tell it for the rest of the program how fast you want it to go. And if you ever want to change that, you just add another block in and change it, and then it will do that. So the left and right, we'll set them both to 50 for now. In your programming, you set it much higher than 50, and it's not going to work very well because the tires will spin a little bit. And then we'll set the claw motor to, I don't want it to be too hard, let's say 25%. And so that will set it. And again, if you want to change it later, you'll just say change it later. Now there's a bunch of stuff here, right? So you have set left motor, oh man, stopping to, brake, coast, hold. What is all this stuff? You don't need to know. You go to the help. Whoops. You go to the help. You click on brake, and it will tell you all about all the different modes. It's right there all the time. The help is what's really going to get you going. If your students are used to using Scratch at all, they will get on this. And the thing, I added this in here because they might not really know to put that velocity in ahead of time. But other than that, your kids will get on here and they will just do it. There's a ton of examples in here as well. There are tutorials about everything. And there's also open examples. There's a bunch of example programs you can run here. There's just a lot of really good stuff there. And if you just let the kids explore, make sure they're not setting anything on fire, I think they're gonna do very well with this. So I'm really excited about it. Something that kind of tickles me is that in these event blocks, it can detect on the brain if you push the up, down, or check button. So your kids could actually build a menu system where once they start their program, because this, unlike Robot C, they're going to save it to 1, 2, 3, 4, so they only have the 4 slots to use. But once they go into slot 1 and run this program, then it can pull up an additional menu with programs there, and they can pick the program they want from their list. If the kids are used to doing Scratch, they do similar things in Scratch where they'll start a game, there'll be a character selection screen, and you can use that screen to select your characters, and the kids kind of just do that by hand. So, like I said, I'm talking a lot about Scratch, but it's really nice that kids can take what they know about Scratch and work it into this. It's really great. I like that part of it a lot. It's less work for us. So just a little bit on that. I've talked for way too long, over 10 minutes, so I've lost your attention. But give it a shot. The website is just vexrobotics.com, VEX code -download. But if you just do a basic Google search, you'll find it there. Plenty of options there to install it. Like I said, the iPad version is there, and like I said, I believe that has wireless downloading. If it doesn't, hopefully they're going to get it going for all of them. Okay? I hope that was useful and awesome, and good to talk to you, and see you hopefully soon at my tournaments at Westwood Middle School or at the district tournament later on this year. Have a good day.